I'm pretty sure of this that you know what is a chemical formula. You have already studied about this in earlier classes, that whenever you're trying to represent some element or some compound by using its symbols, then only you call it a chemical formula. Like I want to say that the compound sodium chloride, but instead of writing it down completely as sodium and chloride, if I simply write it down like NaCl, this is the chemical formula for sodium chloride. And obviously for this you should know what is the symbol of sodium and what is the symbol of chlorine. Similarly, suppose I want to know what is the chemical formula for sodium carbonate. So that will be Na2CO3. Again, for this you should know that this is my sodium atom, this is my carbonate ion, and Na2CO3 is its chemical formula. But what was simple in this case is that sodium chloride becomes one atom of sodium and one atom of chlorine. But in sodium carbonate, why do I write this 2 here? Why not simply NaCO3? So for that reason we need to know that how chemical formulas are formed. So whenever you are trying to form the chemical formulas, first of all you have to write down the names of the elements. Say magnesium is reacting with chlorine. So magnesium is reacting with chlorine to form a compound. I don't know what will be the name of the compound. I am trying to find out the chemical formula of the compound. So first of all, I will write down the symbols MgCl. In the next line, what I will do is I can either write down their valences or I can write down their charges. Say I write down the charges in this case. For magnesium, it's a cation with +2 charge, and chlorine is an anion with -1 charge. Next, what we will do is we will interchange these charges without taking the sign into consideration. So we will make this 2 go here and we will make this 1 go here. If you are taking valency, then there is no question of sign, because valencies, they cannot be like positive or negative, it is simply the combining capacity. But if I am talking of charges, there will be plus and minus charges. So when you are interchanging from the case of charges, you should not consider the sign. And now if I write down the formula, it becomes Mg1Cl2. The 1 can be neglected and simply written as MgCl2. This is the formula for the compound magnesium chloride. And what can we know from the formula? We can try and decipher the formula and see that for every 1 atom of magnesium, there are 2 atoms of chlorine which attaches with magnesium to form magnesium chloride. And this is quite obvious because you have already studied about electronic shell configuration. So you know that if magnesium has a charge +2, that means in its outer shell there is 2 vacant spaces, 2 electrons are not present. Therefore it has a charge +2. And chlorine, it has a charge -1, means in its outer shell there is 1 extra electron than what there should be. That is why a negative charge. Therefore, in order to fill these 2 vacant spaces, you need 2 chlorine atoms. So quite obviously, the compound will be magnesium chloride with 2 atoms of chlorine. Next, if I consider another example, say, let us consider this one, sodium carbonate, as I said here. So what I will do, first I will write down the symbol of the 2 ions. This is the sodium cation and this is the carbonate anion. Next I will write down the charges. Sodium has a charge +1, carbonate has a charge -2. Now I will interchange this, only the charges, not the signs, and we see it becomes Na2CO3. So you see, it is not very difficult to form the chemical formulas. You yourself can do it, but you need to know 2 things properly. One of them is that what is the symbol of the corresponding ions, that you should know properly. If while writing the carbonate ion you write it as CO2, that is wrong, because this is carbon dioxide. So you should be knowing the symbols properly. And the second thing is you should know their charges accurately. When writing the formulas, plus minus signs don't matter, but the magnitude should matter. Therefore, the table of valence that is present in your book, you should know it by detail, at least for all the elements up to atomic number 20 and the ions that are given in your book. So chemical formula gives us these advantages. What can we know from a chemical formula, then what are its advantages? So if I write this down, magnesium chloride, what are the advantages of this writing this down? First of all, the biggest advantages, and you will admit it, that I can completely describe that I am trying to write the name of the compound magnesium chloride, and I don't have to write it out explicitly, magnesium chloride. I can simply write down these symbols and everyone will understand I am meaning the compound magnesium chloride. The second advantage is one can know the atomic composition in a molecule. When we write the chemical formula, we are only talking about one molecule. The chemical formulas represent what is the chemical composition of one molecule of the substance. So when I write down this formula, this basically depicts what is the atomic composition of one molecule of magnesium chloride. And what is the composition? In every molecule of magnesium chloride compound, there is one atom of magnesium and two atoms of chlorine. So it helps us to know a ratio in which the atoms of the different elements are present in a chemical compound. So these are the two main significances of chemical formulas. With that, we move into the next area, which is chemical equation. Now you must be familiar with what is a chemical equation, because last year when you studied about electrochemical reactions, endothermic reactions, exothermic reactions, you had to memorize all those equations. Those are chemical equations only. So here you will study the theory behind chemical equation. First of all, whenever you are writing down a chemical reaction, what you should do is, you might have noticed this, that there is an arrowhead that you use, like this. On this side of the reaction, say you take a compound X plus Y which gives you Z plus A. Suppose any random compound. The first thing you need to keep in mind is that on the left hand side of this arrowhead, that is on this side, what you shall have is only the reactants. These are always my reactants. Reactants can never be on the right hand side of the arrow. The second thing I have to keep in mind is that on the right hand side of the arrow I always place the products of the reaction. The products cannot be on this side. Products has to be on the right hand side, reactants has to be on the left hand side, and they have to be separated by this arrowhead, the direction representing that the reaction is yielding these products when these reactants combine. And every different reactant and every different product is separated by a plus sign between them. If there is more product, I will give another plus, and so on. This is the basic idea about a chemical reaction that you should remember. The second thing is balancing the chemical reactions. Suppose I write this reaction. We all know that hydrogen, when it combines with oxygen, it gives us water. Fine. This reaction that I wrote down, this is also a chemical reaction, but this kind of equation is called a word equation because I have not used any chemical formula. Now I write it like this: hydrogen plus oxygen gives me water. Now I considered H2 here because I know that in every molecule of hydrogen there are two atoms of hydrogen because it's diatomic. Same for oxygen. And in every molecule of water there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So this reaction, now I have used chemical formula, so this is not a word reaction. But you see, it is not balanced. On the left hand side we have two atoms of oxygen, but on the right hand side we have one atom of oxygen. So this kind of chemical reactions or equations where we use the chemical formula but we do not balance it are known as unbalanced equation or skeletal equation, which means it gives a basic idea of what's happening. Now if I go a step further and balance it, what will it look like? 2H2 plus O2 giving me 2H2O. Now you see, on the left hand side I have 2 times 2, that is 4 atoms of hydrogen. Here also 2 times 2, 4 atoms of hydrogen. On the left hand side I have 2 atoms of oxygen, on the right hand side also I have 2 atoms of oxygen. So this is a completely balanced chemical reaction, and obviously if you want to look your reaction more presentable, just below where you write the chemical formula you can mention what they are. Hydrogen plus oxygen giving water. Though this is not mandatory, but this is a sign of a student who has given extra efforts. So when you are writing down a reaction, if time permits, possibly or mainly for the exams I am telling this, you can write down what the names are below them. Otherwise, simply writing the formula and completely balancing them is enough. And in some reactions you will find that here some symbols like this is given, like this is given. This symbol basically means the reactants have to be heated. The heat is represented by this triangle symbol called delta. And this kind of elements name, if they are given, this is the symbol for platinum, this is copper. Those basically means that they have acted as catalysts in the chemical reaction. We can take another example of a chemical reaction, just like that. First of all, the word reaction. What is the word equation? Magnesium plus oxygen giving us magnesium oxide. Magnesium plus oxygen giving us magnesium oxide. This is my word equation. Now I will write down the skeletal equation. Magnesium plus O2 giving me Mg. Now I know magnesium is monoatomic, so Mg, oxygen is diatomic, and magnesium oxide. But again, it's not balanced. 2 atoms of oxygen here, 1 atom of oxygen there. I have to balance it. So I put 2 Mg, 2 Mg. Now you see 2 Mg, 2 Mg, 2 times of 2 atoms of O. So the atoms are balanced. So this is again a balanced chemical reaction. Why is it so important to write a balanced chemical equation? First of all, you should be able to write the skeletal equation. That gives you an idea that which reactants are combining to give what products. But when you write down balanced chemical reactions, they give you a few more advantages. One of that is you can come to know that in which ratio the different atoms of the different elements are present. Like looking at this reaction, you can understand that in every reaction where magnesium combines with oxygen to give magnesium oxide, 2 molecules of monoatomic magnesium combines with 1 molecule of diatomic oxygen to give me 2 molecules of the compound magnesium oxide. So this is one idea that you get. The second area where it will benefit you is if you are trying to calculate the mass that is involved in the reactions, knowing the complete balanced reaction is very important. Suppose it is given to you that 10 grams of magnesium combines with 15 grams of oxygen. How many grams of magnesium oxide is produced in the process? So in those parts, you need to know these exact ratios, they need to be balanced in order to find out this mass of the product accurately.